ارفع ايدك! ارفع ايدك! ارفع! ارفع ايدك!
You're looking at a terrorist hiding under a child's bed. Not a fighter, not a freedom fighter, a coward. And on this episode, I'm going to show you exactly how Israel's best operators hunted him down and why this is just the beginning and what the mainstream media is not going to tell you about operations like this. This operation wasn't just some random IDF sweep. It was a highly coordinated precision raid led by Israel's best, the YAMAS. This mission, led by Israel's undercover border police unit, YAMAS, or the Yechidat Mista'aravim, operating under the direction of the Shabak, or the Sherut Klilei HaBitachon, also known as the Shin Bet, that's Israel's internal security intelligence service, elite intelligence agency, and backed by IDF special operations troops from the Samaria Brigade. Let's talk about YAMAS. I've covered them before. YAMAS isn't your standard IDF unit. These guys specialize in going deep into enemy territory, blending in dressed as Arabs, and moving like locals and striking before the terrorists even know they're there. And the moment they got intel that this guy was in Nablus, they moved fast using a combination of stealth and shock tactics. Let me walk you through the tactical side. YAMAS didn't roll in with tanks here. It's not how they move. They moved in quietly, surgically, operating under cover, using intelligence gathered in real time. Then they made their building entry. Clearing those structures is no joke. I can tell you, I served in the IDF version of this unit. These are tight spaces, multiple rooms, and the risk of booby traps are everywhere. And they searched this apartment and came up empty until they noticed something strange about the under-the-bed storage compartment. And so what did they find? That's when they spotted him curled up, trying not to breathe too loud.
ارفع ايدك! ارفع ايدك! ارفع! ارفع ايدك!
But Israel's special operators don't miss details. They pulled him out and cuffed him before he could even blink. I want to say this. It's important that we get these guys alive. Dead terrorists don't give you intel. It's easy to kill these guys. It's harder to capture them alive. And this is the face of the enemy. These cowards hide behind children, use civilians as shields, and they expect to get away with it. Meanwhile, Israeli warriors go door to door, risking their lives to protect innocent people from the next terror attack. And from what I'm hearing from my sources in Israel, this guy was involved in planning attacks, targeting Israeli civilians. That's why they had to move very hard and fast. You don't have time to wait on these. You got to prevent the next attack. Now I want to get a little more big picture here. I want to zoom out here for a second, because this isn't just about this one terrorist. This raid is part of a larger strategic shift by the IDF and Israeli intelligence agencies. And so here's what's changing. Since January 21st, the IDF has been on a mission to begin to dismantle terrorist networks in Judea and Samaria. They're no longer waiting for attacks to happen like we saw on October 7th. They're taking the fight to the terror enemy, preemptively shutting down terror cells before these guys can strike. And terrorist networks in Judea and Samaria, They're more organized now than ever, and they've been emboldened by what's happened in Gaza, regardless of the fact that we've absolutely dismantled Hamas. They're using new tactics, hiding behind civilians again, and then trying to take advantage of this international media bias, which we've seen here for the last year and a half. But Israel isn't playing defense here. They're going after these guys before they can get their hands on Israeli civilians and murder them. The Aaron Cohen Show is sponsored by the Cherries Deep Concealment Holster. This is the same holster I trained Keanu on for the John Wick franchise. This thing runs BWB, or below the waistband, means there is zero digging into your gut, and this holster will never fall off you because it runs below the waistband. Also, lightning fast draw with just a little bit of training. Hit the link down in the description to order one of these bad boys. They ship next day. Zero lead time with these things now. They ship next day. Lightning fast draw. Fits all double stacked 9 and 40 Glocks. Fully adjustable clip and ambidextrous lefties, you're covered. Hit the link down in the description. Grab one of these bad boys and finally carry with comfort and total concealment. And so here's how these terrorists are copying Hamas and Hezbollah. We've seen this before. Hamas in Gaza, Hezbollah in Lebanon. Now these terror cells in the West Bank are copying the same playbook. They're digging in, using those civilians as human shields, and they're hiding like rats. The difference, Israel's getting ahead of the threat. I want to talk about some of the media bias here. I want to talk about how CNN would cover a raid like this. They'd say something like Israeli forces storm Palestinian home. And here's how they would cover a terror attack in Tel Aviv, for instance. Violence erupts. No mention of who the attacker is. No mention of the innocent civilians murdered. That's something I want to pick at a little bit farther here. The media works overtime, as we've seen, to paint Israel as an aggressor, even when Israel's literally stopping terrorists from killing civilians. And now we're starting to learn why, as USAID is getting unraveled and peeled wide open with all this garbage money flooding and literally funding these left-wing radical media companies, which are nothing more than radical state-run propaganda. But I want to say this. If you're a terrorist hiding in a bed frame, in a tunnel, in a hospital, I can assure you, you're on borrowed time. Because Israel isn't waiting for the next attack. The IDF is coming for you. The IDF is coming for you before you even have a chance. And I promise you that on the next operation, I'll be right back here breaking down that raid, the next strike, and every terrorist takedown as it happens. And so I'm going to come back to these raids as they continue to develop and break them down for you and keep bringing you guys what's actually happening on the ground, because that's what we do here. So if you guys want that truth, the real truth about Israel's fight against terror, stay locked in with me. Do me a favor, subscribe, share the episode. Let's keep getting that truth out. Whatever the mainstream media won't cover, don't worry. I'm going to hit it here. Also, if you guys are a fan of the show, do me a favor, join my Season 1 sponsorship team. We're completely independently funded by you, the fans. Hit the link down in the description. Grab yourself a mini sponsorship package. They start at about $25. Helps keep the lights on in the studio and helps us keep combating that anti-Israel and anti-Trump garbage disinformation that's out there. I appreciate you guys. I'm going to come back to these as more develop. I'm Aaron Cohen. You're watching the Aaron Cohen Show, and I will catch you guys soon on the next one.